Hello, today we're going to look at our third subtraction strategy, which is called compensating. Now, compensating is a strategy we can use for numbers which end in 8, 9 and 0. Today we're going to focus mostly on numbers that end in 8 and 9. Let's have a look at the steps to success. Compensating, or constant distance, is a strategy we can use when one of the numbers ends in an 8, a 9 or a 0. Adjusting the numbers before we subtract allows you to complete the problem quickly. When adjusting, it's important to remember that whatever you do at the start, you need to do the same or opposite at the end to keep the distance of the numbers the same. Essentially, when you subtract, the distance between the two numbers has to remain constant. This means adjusting at the start or the end to help you do this quickly. To investigate this strategy, let's have a look at this question. In the holidays, I drove some miles around the north of Scotland. After the first so many miles, I stopped at Goape. How many more miles did I have left to drive to complete the journey? If we look at the amazing numbers, we've got the question 500 take away 98. Now, if we were to do column method, we'd have to take the 100 and borrow it all the way across here, exchanging as we go along. It's not the quickest way. There's a quicker way to do this. As long as we remember that subtraction is about counting the gap between these two numbers, and it doesn't matter whether we count up or count back, as long as the gap stays the same, we'll get the right answer. Now, 98 add 2 is 100. So I need to remember what I've done at the start because that'll affect the gap at the end. I've made them 2 closer, so at the end I need to add 2 to make them 2 further away. Okay? So because I've added 2 at the end, I've brought them the value of 2 closer, so at the end I need to make them the value of 2 further apart. So it's not the opposite operation, it's making the gap bigger again. So doing that brings 98 up to 100. So I've now got 500 take away 100. Now, I've got 500 take away 100. That leaves me with 400 here. Now, that's not the answer because at the start I made the gap 2 closer. So what I need to do at the end is add 2 to bring the gap out to what it was to start with. 400 add 2 is 402. So the answer to 500 take away 98 is 402. If we look at the fantastic numbers, we've got 615 take away 78. Now we could do adding up, we could do counting back. However, this end number ends in an 8, which means we can round it up and make the sum a bit easier. So 78 is really close to 80 if I add 2. Now, remember what this means is I've brought these two values 2 closer together, so at the end I mean to make them 2 further away. So at the end I'm going to be adding 2 again to bring the values back to the distance they were to start with. This gives you the new sum of 615 minus 80. Now you can do that however you choose. You can count up, you can count back. I'm going to count back 615 minus 10, 605 minus 70 to get me the rest of the way is 535. So the answer here is 535. Now remember, I added 2 at the start to bring the values 2 closer together. So I need to count to my 353 and I need to add 2 at the end to keep the gap back to where it should have been. So 535 add 2 is 537. The answer is 537. The final question is the brilliant question. So we've got 1,515 take away 178. Now again, this is very close to being rounded up. So and it ends in 8, which means I can compensate. So I'm going to add 2 here to give me 1515 minus 180. If you wanted, you could add 22 to this. Bear in mind, if you add 22 to start, you've got to take 22 away at the end. So let's actually just do that to make it this number, take away 200, so let's add 20. So now we've got 1515 minus 200. Now I know that's much easier, but remember, I've brought the gap 22 closer now, so I need to, at the end, make it 22 further away. So we're only changing this place, so that's going to be 1315. Now, this is not the final answer. We brought the gap 22 closer to start with, so we need to take the gap 22 further away now. So we're on 1315, and we need to add 20, which is 1335. Now we need to add 2, 1335. Add our 2 is 1337. The answer is 1337. Remember, if it ends in 8 or 9, compensate. You can compensate by as much as you like, as long as whatever you bring the gap closer to, you do it the opposite way at the end. So we brought it 22 closer at the start, we've taken it 22 further away at the end. The answer, 1337. So there we have it, compensating. Remember, compensating, whatever we do is about making the gap stay the same. So you might want to adjust both numbers at the start to keep the gap the same and then complete the question, or you might want to do what I did, adjust one of the values to make the gap a little bit smaller, and then remember, push the gap back out at the end. Whatever you do, your personal choice, give it a go.